And Christy, who's actually noticing there's something about Mike. There are 3 divisions in each dhatu. Sexual energy nourishes the physical body, the heart, and the intellect. Only that man who uses the physical body, the heart, and the intellect can have perfect brahmacharya. A wrestler who uses his physical body only but keeps his intellect and the heart underdeveloped cannot attain this. He can have brahmacharya of the body, but not of the mind, not of the heart. The sexual energy that belongs to the heart and the mind will certainly flow out. And this is a preface from this individual posting here from Swami Sivananda. And an interesting picture here, an interesting picture that made me think of some of the bits and pieces that I've been researching lately. When you're meditating and transmuting, the sexual energy is spread. Now, I know this is just a graphic here, but this pertains to your nervous system. I have an excerpt here out of the, quite a mouthful, this book, and fairly complex. The abdominal and pelvic brain with automatic visceral ganglia. This cutout shows a cross-section, you can see that, of the lumbar and sacral portions of the sympathetic nervous system. And the reason I'm sharing this particular picture with you, nice and close so you can see, is that spider webbing, that tree branching like diagram of the nervous connective tissue. We are so interlinked, so entwined within each part of our 7 centers, the chakra centers, that it is naive to believe that you cannot influence different parts of your body through intention and through breath. I will repeat every single time, as long as it takes for you guys to start practicing and actually moving this energy. You must consciously move the nervous tension in the pelvic floor, up the spine, into the heart plexus, into the cranial plexus, into the ganglions there, which storehouse this energy. This is a scientific lens. This is a scientific lens. And the scientific one should give you more conviction that what you're doing or what you should be doing has some empirical evidence behind it. So this is what we do when we're moving the energy. We use the breath, we use the intention from the pelvic floor, and we circulate it round the nervous system, and we store it in the solar plexus. The solar plexus, the second brain, as this book pertains to, the second brain. There are so many nerve endings, in the solar plexus, because they're used to store that nervous energy for later when you need to draw upon it in moments where you might need to leverage more energy. So we'll continue on here about the auric and etheric effects that this particular process then has on an individual who uses transmutation as a conscious exercise. Because we're only taught about the physical, people think that's all there is to this reality. But this is naive. When you are retaining sexual energy, when you're transmuting it, there is more of you. Your aura is stronger and more active. Your limbic system will start to recover and re-energize everything you do, and you realize everything that you do has more power. A more palatable way is you have more nerve force. You have more nerve force. The nervous system is more potent and therefore more sensitive to its surroundings. And when you have a greater sensitivity out of body, because the nervous system can extend out of body, people will start to pick up on this in the form of a field, a nervous field. I've actually had people ask, did I start training? But I was actually smaller in volume because I do intermittent fasting as well as 3-day water fasting. I did not go to a month in the gym because of COVID. But you look tougher even without the volume. People look and see the physical, but on a deeper level, they're also sensing auras and power levels as well. So there's an interesting diagram here to kind of show how this plays out. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys here. And each of them are highlighted with different auras. And we have 2 women here. And the thought forms that are happening when they're in proximity to each of these individuals, right? And you can see Mike here has the greatest aura of them all. Dennis has the smallest aura, I would believe. And you've got Jody here commenting on seeing Ivan, who similarly has a larger field, and Christy, who's actually noticing there's something about Mike, or Mikey, as she's saying. Your aura affects seemingly total, unrelated activities and choices. The smartest man that ever lived in our recorded history, Nikola Tesla, said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This quote should not be new to you. When your vibration rises and you also don't waste your sexual energy, which contains nutrients, vitamins, life force energy, you vibrate on a higher plane of existence. This comes with its own rewards and challenges. Think of it like a video game, and on higher levels, you don't just encounter bigger threats, but also bigger lures. Amazing women will try and take that from you. Like I mentioned in my previous post, some men will feel threatened as well. They won't know why, but they will, and they will try to put you down. But understand, you don't have to react to everything. I actually find being more stoic and being more present and being more unreactive and responsive, which is a conscious decision, is something that comes more intuitively to you. You kind of sit in a quiet seat of confidence and reassurance that, hey, you're doing what you need to do. All the agency and jurisdiction is still yours. Unless you're attacked or lied against, most of the attacks or jokes you can ignore, and they will even backfire, especially if you're crushing it in your occupation. Also, if your aura is too strong, they won't even do that, meaning they may feel a sense of intimidation towards you. Hell, depending on the job you have, you might even have the opposite problem. A woman wanting your sexual energy and she's your HR manager or your boss. Mentioned many times, there is a conscious way to attract women through material, through what you can see through the senses, or you smell through the senses, hear through the senses, in the form of clothing, cars, and financial resources. Or there's a subconscious attraction, the one that happens on a level that is almost imperceptible to the senses, but not to the soul, not to the... And by the way, this is affecting their nervous system as well. If your nervous system is stronger and has more breadth and more potency and is larger in circumference, it starts to have an effect on their nervous system as well. So that might be a better way for, let's say, a more skeptical individual to palate the idea better. Some tricks to help you. If you get excited, breathe out completely and hold. Do that 3 times and you will go floppy. I always like to say do very slow breathing and just focus it until you can make the breathing in, I suppose more specifically, the inhalation, exhalation part of the breathing, a circle, meaning there is no imperceptible point between the end of the exhalation and the start of the inhalation, for example. Cold showers, of course, pray and focus. I think having a conduit to speak to your deity, your God, your religion is certainly something that's helpful, as it's the highest values and morals that many people will have. I don't believe that you can actually maybe experience the true fruits of this journey if you're closed down to the spiritual part of your personality. I believe what we're doing here is inherently spiritual. I do not eat anything after 8 o'clock. Don't drink a lot of water at that time either. Be active and work hard. Yeah, I think there's certainly some utility in here. The best one, though, is the one that I started this video with. You have to move the nervous energy. All frustration or moments of panic are simply a consequence of too much nervous energy in the pelvic floor area. Through my diagram that I showed you earlier, you can use breath, you can use prana that can move Shakti or nervous energy, and you can circulate it around the microcosmic orbit, and you can store it into the solar plexus where you can use the energy for a later time. The ball of energy that your body is in is affected by other people as well, but the stronger it is, the less affected it becomes. Usually only slightly. That is why you become more and more the people you hang around with, and old couples that are together for 40 years in the same bed literally start to look like each other. Yeah, your auras, your nervous systems, your souls blend. Your nervous system blends with other people. The more a masculine man hangs out with a woman, mismatches his energy with her, empties himself, the less masculine he will become because he's blending into the feminine aspect. I don't think that's inherently wrong. I suppose in a spiritual perspective here, when you're uniting man and woman, you're coming into yoga, which is a union between feminine and masculine. The masculine dissolves and the feminine dissolves, and you just become one. You become the divine, you become God. So Again, fundamentally, that's where we're going here. If your ego is too attached to the masculine principle, then you don't understand it. It's a means to God. Furthermore, the yogis say that sexual energy exists in subtle forms in cells all over the body. Well, yes, because when you're reproducing, you are taking blood, bone, all these cells to replicate another version of you. Why wouldn't it be involved in these cells? This is true because of the fractal holographic nature of reality as well. Thoughts on sex or seeing naked bodies will pull your sexual energies into the areas that you need to reproduce. But it's not just constantly gathering there. Otherwise, no one could do it for longer than 60 days. Think of it like seeds in your body, blood, organs, and brains that could flower into more power, such as muscles, better systems, stronger blood, smarter and deeper mind. But if you release this, then you don't have it anymore. Just had to skip over an illustration there, which I don't believe was too particularly PG, but the idea is energy vampires will drain you both physically and etherically for nothing. They will even transfer some of their dark energy into you. There is a lot of many narratives which pertain to astral travel and astral bodies and etheric bodies, where these energy vampires are taking your energy when you are indulging adult material, when you are ensconced in lust. And if you could see what was feeding on you, geez, you wouldn't be able to sleep that night. Avoid toxic people, energy vampires, and light stealers. Remember, they have to keep you close to them to keep draining you. Therefore, they will always help you but keep humiliating you. Have you ever seen an attractive woman, a successful woman, have a friend that sucks on multiple levels? She's draining her life. She's draining her of life force energy and keeping the constant ratio even better in public. Yeah, to make themselves look good comparatively to them as well. There's a coordination here between the two nervous energies stored in the solar plexus. Whilst we are being drained of valuable time and emotional energy we need for ourselves, we are also being drained of pranic energy, life force energy, chi or ki or prana. The vampires actually connects an etheric cord between us, one that we may not be able to see. So I talked about parasites in the astral realm. Sometimes an energy drainer can be hardcore in the way that they seek to stalk another for their advice or sympathy, wanting nothing less than all we have to give. We have to shake them properly unless we want them intruding on us constantly in the relationship we truly agreed to. Unless we approach them the exact right way, they can make tenacious stalkers or even begin to use bullying tactics or guilt to keep the sympathy flowing. So cut them off. They are out there, gentlemen. I don't think I have anything more important to add than what I prefaced with this video. You have to breathe, guys. You have to move this nervous tension if you are going to expand the remit, the circumference of your nerve force, your nervous force. Your aura, you can call it an aura, but it's your nervous system that has the power, has the potency. Your CSF, your cerebral spinal fluid, bathes and powers your nervous system. And every time you are contracting the pelvic floor, breathing, you are circulating this fluid around the nervous system. And it increases in potency when you are not releasing your sexual energy needlessly. If you want to learn a little bit more about this in long form videos, there are many lectures I have available on my Patreon. I would be honored if you could honor me in supporting my work. But these aren't theories, these are facts. Speak soon.